cutting-edge guests, awesome, uncensored, jaw-dropping information, plus funny memes, good deeds, and loads of laughter. Kind of have it all. Ladies and gentlemen, if your soul's awake, then welcome, because you're in the right place.
Silver is breaking free from COMEX suppression. The jackpot is here. Trust the plan.
And of course, that time is now. Welcome back, everybody, to Send It Sunday. I'm your host, Brad Wozni, and right behind me here is not the normal studio that you see. I'm in a little bit of a ski chalet. And by the way, I want to start with this message because we're on what they call Super Bowl Sunday, and it is the Olympics, which are going on right now. Filmed this for all of you just 2 hours ago. Enjoy this little video as we get into it. I hope everyone's enjoying the Olympics. Well, some people are watching the Olympics. Some people are out having fun, but no. Do not ski in the avalanche danger zone. But having a great time here in these beautiful mountains, thanks to a lot of incredible things which manifest. Let's see if we can get this going around. There we go. Heading back down that valley. Already done a few amazing runs, and it's time to get after it. So wherever you're doing on this great Sunday, manifesting your destiny, uplifting consciousness, have fun. And we'll see you on the show. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you in a few. Cheers. Enjoy the energy of these mountains. All right, and there you have it. So I'm showered up, here to deliver the show and get this incredible information out to you. As you can see in the title for the thumbnail on this Sunday is 375 an ounce silver, Nessa and Dorma, and $210 trillion in wealth. Just SAR and winning is the subtitle on the Send It Sunday show. And as we get into it here, by the way, if any of you are in the Olympics, congratulations for being there. You know, my only wife that I've had was invited to the Canadian Olympic team. She was a junior alpine skier. And then my little brother-in-law, her younger brother, he was invited to Team Canada as well. So I was very blessed to be in a family we had 12 and a half great years together. Her and I, it was a mutual separation after a time. But my goodness, because of that, and because it got to comprehend what was involved in athletes which have families that support them, especially in Canada, you were not allowed at that time, probably not now, not allowed to receive sponsorship and paying, and you can't have a job because they're dedicating themselves to one sport their entire life, right? And both her and her little brother I was mentioning went to National Ski Academy in Canada in Collingwood, Ontario, which is where I graduated high school, which is amazing because that's coming back on the map. I've got an entrepreneur here in 2 weeks from that area with something that is truly remarkable. But for everybody who is in the Olympics right now, bless the competitors, bless the families, irrespective of the satanic ceremonies or the protocols. Remember in Beijing Olympics, they required all the athletes and the teams to have the jab, right? We're going to talk about that a little bit later, because right now you're witnessing the overt collapse. This all ties together to silver and everything that's going on, as well as Ness and Dorma. You are witnessing the overt collapse of all global deep state operations from the Olympics and fiat currencies, plus their suppressive rigged natures by the cabal in several financial markets, including precious metals, all the way to the Super Bowl. Remember, Super Bowl, very guy who's a commissioner of the freaking football league, the Nazi football league. And by the way, that's how we lost our second account on X, because they were requiring jabs for everybody to attend the games and the athletes, and you have the athletes dying on fields. Remember that just 3 years ago? And because it called them out, Nazi football league, war crimes, you know, everybody should have their freedom of choice and sovereignty and medical freedom and standing by supreme law. they killed our Twitter account back then. So the NFL right now, Roger Goodell under a big microscope, because in an Epstein email, Epstein is talking about, we reshared that from the Epstein files this week. They were in communication, writing emails back and forth about launching World War III, an actual World War III at tonight's Super Bowl in America. These emails are years ago, and that just came out in this last Epstein drop 2 weeks ago, Friday. So you have the head commissioner of NFL and Epstein himself talking about unleashing World War III. Do you remember The Dark Knight Rises? I believe that was the one, Batman, where you had Payne was the evil, antagonist. And at the football game in Gotham City, which, draws a lot of parallels to New York City, they blew it up. Well, that's what they were supposed to be doing right now tonight. So wherever the normies are, at least remind them lots of what they had going on for us in terms of taking us off. So the debt enslavement and the actual death and the murder and the satanic ritual abuse. And so many kids are being saved right now. It's truly amazing. Excuse me. All very dry air here. So I'm back in dry air. It's great to be rocking and ripping on skis and snowboards again coming up, which is awesome. By the way, speaking of that, the World Health Organization, if you didn't notice, because President Trump withdrew America from the WHO, they refused to give the American flag back to them, Old Glory. So Rubio and President Trump set the U.S. Marines into the World Health Organization headquarters just this week, and the Marines captured the flag. How amazing is that? So let's move on to the silver shockwave. Here are the top 5 reasons we're in a historic silver surge. Number 1, supply is vaporizing. You've seen it in all the shows I've been doing. Physical silver across retailers just in the last 2 weeks, and some bullion dealers in the USA and Europe are openly reporting they're sold out. That's it, guys. No more. We're sold out. We're trying to get it for ourselves in the next couple of months. Number 2, silver is still over triple where it was last year. Triple in price right now where it was a year ago today. And remember, having never went above $45 an ounce ever in its entire history, it broke that ceiling last autumn. So there is no price ceiling on silver whatsoever. Number 3, central banks and governments, right? Central banks are for governments worldwide, from Russia to China, across Asia and Europe. They've been gobbling up silver for years. And India alone is reported to have imported 225 million ounces of silver just in 2025, last year alone. And number 4, deep state players, the actual physical suppressors of precious metal prices from gold, silver, platinum, palladium, and copper, they're being laid bare for everyone to see. No longer can you have, being censored by, well, maybe it was this player, maybe it was the CCP over here, maybe it was that cabal hedge fund over there, whatnot, and COMEX and CME and all this kind of stuff. It's there. It's out in the open. And in answer to that, number 5, remember, President Trump issued an executive order just before the new year, November last year, classifying silver as a critical mineral to America. And that has never been done before in history. And you're also seeing other things come to play. So Ji Wo Rui is accused of a $19 billion fraud. And I'll just bring up the picture here right now so you can see it in BRICS News. And who are these guys? Well, actually, let me just take you over to the article on it because it was reported in BRICS News. Here it is. China's online gold trading platform crisis. A $19 billion fraud, or 6 billion yuan, flowed into China's 4 largest gold-backed exchange-traded funds. The Chinese gold trading community has been buzzing after hundreds of investors of Jiwori, a small gold retailer and online trading platform, expressed angst for being unable to withdraw funds or make metal purchases. This comes as rising demand for precious metals in China disclosed significant stress points within the country's gold trading landscape. As reported by Guru Focus, Protests erupted outside the Shenzhen offices of Jiwo Roy, wherein people participated from distant regions with their families after learning the platform might be facing cash. So they, want to get in on the silver or the gold surge, right? We're in the golden age. And all of a sudden, you want to withdraw your gold? You want some of your money back? Sorry, no bueno. And that's what this is reporting, right? And who are they? They're one of numerous small and medium-sized platforms that have leveraged social media to attract retail investors eager for rapid gains. So they're going after, speculators, people who want to jump on the bandwagon finally and get onto it from gold's recent spike, which has outperformed equities and cryptocurrencies. The turmoil coincides with China witnessing record inflows of bullion-linked investment products. In a single day on Friday, over 6 billion yuan, 19 billion, flowed in the country's 4 largest gold-backed ETFs, marking the biggest day inflow on record as gold prices surged nearly 30% year to date. Well, year to date, it's only been 5 weeks in the new year. Gold is up like 68% over its last year. 168% over its price from a year ago right now. So everything is looking awesome and lively for all of you, dear souls, right? And as you saw in the intro, trust the plan. And what is President Trump in this image holding? He's got a QFS card, Quantum Financial System, which is where we all are right now. It's online. And you can see what's burning is paper and COMEX burning. So, here it is, by the way, from Bricks News, just to give you that screenshot so you can see it elsewhere. And that was reported just yesterday. It's already got 155,000 views, right? The Chinese gold trading platform, Jiwo, accused of 19 billion fraud. Assets frozen, users offered 20% compensation. Hey, you gave us $1 million. We'll just give you 200,000 back. Not going to fly. Not going to fly, right? And for any of you, if you don't know, right, we in America right now and still interacting with them just on Friday, close of business, still rocking it at BuddhaLovesGold.com. Goldco is our partner as well. And for Americans, they're helping them protect their investments, right? So you have gold, silver, you can leverage it, ante up, direct purchase from them at BuddhaLovesGold.com. And you'll see that on the screen here. I'll also put this up so you can just scan the QR code for it. And this is unfortunately only in America and the American corporation boundaries. So for those of you in Australia to South Africa to Norway, Sweden, appreciate all of you, UK, Canada, elsewhere, Costa Rica, Mexico, we have an incredible audience. This one's only for America because they're dealing with direct purchases from American banking accounts. Unless you're Canadian or Australia, New Zealand, and you got an American banking account, then you can purchase directly through Goldco, our partner, at this QR code link because it's tied to the show, and they're still offering an instant match because you see the writing on the wall, right? Remember, I'm one of those conspiracy theorists. Masks don't work. What was I? In Canadian Armed Forces in the infantry, they put us into the tear gas hut. You had to be trained up as a soldier, put on top high, they called it, right? Threat over protective posture gear. Those suits that you see in the movies, right? And then you have the soldiers put your web gear, our magazines, our grenades on top of it, our helmets on top of it. We have a gas mask. We have either an NBC filter for nuclear, biological, chemical weapons, or we have a charcoal filter on the mask. And then you still have to practice your battle drills. That mask, we still had to, that's why you shave in the infantry, right? Got a little stubble here now. But that mask had to have a proper seal because those were CS tear gas pellets, not like the normal stuff that cops are carrying right now or even ICE. I mean, like the real stuff that you would take to war on a battlefield and put it out there to just kind of disable or disrupt the enemy. I mean, I think, a couple grenades up their ass would disrupt it a lot more, but it all depends on the usage. But anyway, those real masks work. I'm a conspiracy theorist for saying those masks don't work. Don't take the jab, whatnot. And you're seeing that right now. Why? Because you can read. All I had to do was read. Told everybody about it, right? You can read. It's in black and white. You can see what's coming. China halted 70% of the world's silver exports 5 weeks ago, January 1st. Barely any silver is being exported from China now, unless you can do 80 million tons. You can mine that in China and apply for a special export license. So you're seeing the metal wars massively heat up. And I hope that all of you take that opportunity. BuddhaLovesGold.com. It's a free consultation, right? Everybody's loved going over there. It's over 8,000 5-star reviews. So you're in great hands. As soon as you contact them, free report, what's going on with the silver. You're hearing it here, though. And let me continue on, including what's going on, right? So we talked about President Trump, and when he announced it, I had that on the show, the announcement here. So please make sure you're following us on Rumble, YouTube, or X, or Telegram. We have profiles as well on Facebook and also on True Social. So it's just awesome. Appreciate all of you. And when President Trump classified silver as a critical mineral last Monday, just 6 days ago on, became announced, right? Project Vault, 54 nations. So J.D. Vance and Secretary of State Marco Rubio held a conference with 54 nations total, America being one of them, 53 others. And they discussed with creating Project Vault, and I'll take you over to the video in a moment and also the link, but to establish price floors. This is directly from Vice President Vance, to establish price floors to reflect real world value. So we've heard now, and I've had one on the show confirm this, and we look at others who own or invest in silver mines or own mining companies in America, that silver needs to be at 280 an ounce in order for those organizations and corporations to invest into the equipment, the land, the operating costs, and also to get up to speed on the technological and the human resources to go and open or reopen silver mines that have been closed down due to NAFTA a long time ago in order to bring it out of the ground. And they need to know, and they were screaming for last year, like, hey, you might be saying this is great, but we need assurances and guarantees that after this administration of 3 years of the amazing Trump effect, that it's not going to slap back and our billions of dollars in investment into silver mines all across America and precious metals mines are going to evaporate because it goes back to price suppression once again. Well, here it is that you will see on the post right from the White House. Excuse me, I do a share screen, almost did a share image. And there's the White House, and I'll read to you what it says. Okay. America's own critical mineral stockpile, a new era of prosperity for American workers, right? And this was posted yesterday by the White House on the White House account on X. And it says, on Monday, the Trump administration announced Project Vault, America's first domestic critical mineral stockpile. We intend to build an ironclad network of new industrial supply chains to span the entire nation. My lips are warming up, right? So a little tripping over it. We're going to create good paying jobs, skilled jobs for the American labor force. And those people, those skilled workers, are going to be securing a new era of prosperity for American families. Quote by Vice President J.D. Vance, official ministerial, minerals ministerial is what it says, February 4th, 2026, right? Powerful. Well, let's take it right over here to the video that I said I had for you. And by the way, once again, this is on the beautiful, I think it's beautiful, White House website. Introducing, when you refresh this, by the way, notice what comes up. Well, I guess we had to close it, but in the left-hand corner, it'll come up and it'll say, welcome to the golden age. So this is on the White House website, but I've had this page up for 15 minutes now preparing for the show. Well, I guess 25 minutes. So it kind of went down, but they're putting it right up in everybody's face, right? Here it is. So introducing Project Vault, a critical mineral stockpile for American businesses, February 2, 2026. Here is the quick 1-minute video you get to hear from President Trump himself. Oh, there it is.
For years, American businesses have risked running out of critical minerals during market disruptions. Today, we're launching what will be known as Project Vault, to ensure that American businesses and workers are never harmed by any shortage. We don't want to ever go through what we went through a year ago. Just as although it did work out, thank you. Just as we have long had a strategic petroleum reserve and a stockpile of critical minerals for national defense, we're now creating this reserve for American industry so we don't have any problems. This historic initiative will combine $10 billion in export-import bank financing with $2 billion in private sector financing. And we even expect the American taxpayer to make a profit from the interest on the loan used to start the Project Vault. It's an amazing thing. They've been talking about it for years. Other presidents did a lot of talking, but they didn't do anything.
Boom. And did you catch that at the end? The American taxpayer will profit from the interest on the loan. So you're going to be getting more dividend checks from Treasury, more money from Treasury going to you directly. How beautiful, how amazing is that? It's freaking fantastic. So you're in Jassara, once again, the Global Economic Security and Reformation Act, and each nation who is signing on to the Trump Alliance, which we saw with the Board of Peace. UN is now gone. I mean, it's fizzling out. It's dying on the vine, right? That snake is kind of like slithering out. Because why? Because they're relying, which we saw, on pretty much 95% of it to be run on American investment based on the reports. And then America said, okay, well, we're not going to be funding our UN anymore. We're creating the Board of Peace. And then the country signed on and anteed up $1 billion per from Russia to Vietnam, right? In the UAE. Amazing, truly amazing. So I really hope that all of you, because right now is where we are, and you can see it, the golden age, and it's on the White House website, the golden age, it's in front of you. This is on President Trump's Truth Social account, showed over and over and over. And if you're not too sure about what's happening, well, hey, remember, this is just a week ago that the S&P hit 7,000 for the first time ever. America is back. And what is that 7,000 in? It's in gold and silver. So again, the return to bimetallism at the Philadelphia Mint Act, or the Coinage Act, really in 1792, going back to the Constitutional Republic. And that's where we're going back to. So I'm going to take a moment. Once again, you hear in President Trump's own words how much he loves gold. And you can get an opportunity to have a free consultation with Goldco via BuddhaLovesGold.com. Be right back after this. All right, you sovereign souls, now is the time to protect your money with gold and silver if you already have not. And if you are and you have a chance to do so, I highly encourage to do so even more, because gold and silver will launch the golden age, which Commander-in-Chief Trump has continuously referenced.
The dollar is going down, and it's not a pretty picture, and it's not being sustained by proper policy and proper thinking. This was an opportunity, and maybe an opportunity to show people what's happening with the dollar so that we can do something about it.
Get some if you can. BuddhaLovesGold.com will take you to our partner Goldco. They have over 6,000 five-star reviews. This is why now is the time to buy gold and silver, because we have thousands of Americans buying gold today. The rising inflation has reduced our purchasing power. Dysfunctional politics don't work for us. The US dollar has lost over 97% of its value since 1913, while the price of gold has increased over 9,000%. Silver has fared well against the dollar too, with the silver price increasing over 4,500% since 1913. It's about wealth protection. Physical precious metals act as a hedge against dips in volatile markets. Go over to BuddhaLovesGold.com. That's www.BUDDHA, BuddhaLovesGold.com. You will download your free silver and gold guide today, and our great people over there at Goldco will take care of you. That's BuddhaLovesGold.com. You'll see a picture of me right on there, Brad Wozni. And once again, BRICS is the new financial system. Asset-backed precious metals is the way of the future. This is about financial control. Diversifying your assets with gold and silver puts you in control of your wealth at BuddhaLovesGold.com. As you can see, they are voted 2024, so a little over a year ago, best in customer service. So that was done by the end of 2024. So I had all 2025. So we're going to wait for who is voted best in customer service by money and best for gold IRA companies. So you can feel really good being with them. So 120 ounce, right? That's where silver went up to. So we saw that where, again, the floor or the ceiling rather that it had been at was 45 all time. And then it crashed through that and it just kept going up on a run up to 120. Well, two more extremely powerful things for you to be aware of. And again, when you go back to the Coinage Act, right, you've got a ratio now of about 64-1 silver to gold. It's supposed to be at 15-1. Well, here, everybody remembers 2008. Everybody remembers Bear Stearns, Lehman Brothers, all of us here do. Exactly, right? Then it was too big to fail. We got to give $800 billion to the banks. What a bunch of crap that turned out to be. However, during that time, there was a legendary technical analyst. So he does TA, technical analyst for stocks and derivatives, guy by the name of Michael Oliver. And he's the founder of Momentum Structural Analysis. So he projects that we're going to see $500 silver by summer, by July, and $8,000 an ounce gold. All based on the analysis, all based on everything that I've been covering here as well. So here's a guy who called 2008 about the markets and what was going to happen. Inclusive in that are the bond markets that he anticipates are going to absolutely collapse. And it's been everywhere these last few days as he came out and he had said this. So stay tuned this week because I have an economist, West Point grad, U.S. Army Ranger who worked for 30 years on Wall Street and brokerage and still doing duty on our country and publishing papers. And he and I and Goldco teamed up to bring you a show. And we go through compliance, of course, because we're saying things that are absolute, but legal. Lawful still wants to have a check on it. By the way, they green marked the show. Just got the heads up from them. It's good to go. So that will come up shortly. So stay tuned for that. So you get to hear from an absolute patriot and economist. And he will tell you as well where we're going in his personal points of view. But let me tell you, this is the paper inflosion, right? Now, I don't have PhD economics. I was brought into Wilfrid Laurier University, or accepted rather, as a scholar to go there. Your grades were my grades were scholarly, I guess. I don't speak too scholarly, right? To do honors in economics. Now, back then in the 90s, Wilfrid Laurier University in Waterloo, Ontario, was considered, the business and the economics school was considered the Harvard of the North. That was its nickname, the Harvard Business School of the North, right? So that's where I went. Accepted into the honors economics program, because they had an honors business program too. So you kind of, you want to just, you don't need to be like extremely brainy to figure out what's going on. I'm going to frame up the last 2 years here in 5 sentences. So simple, a fifth grader can get it. All right. Write this down. 19 days, February 27, we are 19 days away from 429 million ounces of silver's demand crashing into only 103 million ounces of supply. That's when the COMEX dam is going to burst in America. So last year, paper silver charade finally cracked. People stopped pretending, demanded actual metal. COMEX puked out more than double the physical silver of 2024. So it doubled that in 2025 to 474 million ounces versus 203 million. And every dang month set a new record. Like, we're not kidding. Give us the bars. We don't want paper. Give us the bars. Give us the physical bullion. And when you go to Goldco at BuddhaLovesGold.com, you're getting your physical. You're getting physical silver. You put it into a vault or you have it delivered to your home. You get physical silver. So this is kind of like straight out of Dumb and Dumber, what we've been seeing on the exposure of the paper market. You remember that scene in Dumb and Dumber? The kidnappers often open the briefcase expecting a mountain of cash and instead find a sad stack, through Jim Carrey's character, of IOUs scribbled on toilet paper that say, sorry, we spent it all. Lamborghini, $255,000. Might want to hold on to that one. And they're written in crayon. That's the fractional silver paper market that we're now seeing about to freaking collapse, implode. So the COMEX vaults are bleeding out so fast that in a few weeks, just in a few weeks, February 27 and then throughout March, there might not be enough silver left at all, even if only a handful of contract holders show up asking for delivery, which is basically the financial version of, hey, the bar ran out of beer at 9 p.m. on New Year's Eve, right? People like, are you kidding me? 9 p.m. we're out of beer. We're out of bar. We're out of beer. What's going on? It's New Year's. People aren't too happy, right? So from this standpoint, think about the cabal, the deep state banksters who have been laid bare now for what's going on. Picture the world's oldest, sleaziest, fractional reserve silver orgy of banksters finally hitting empty, right? And the music cuts off before midnight. Head bouncer steps on the stage, clears his throat, tells a sea of furious, half-naked hedgies, let's call it, like, hedge funds that are helping each other in the back. Maybe not all are bad, that's for sure, but I think many are. And the bouncer's like, yeah, hey, we're out completely. Nothing left. Well, the price just went vertical. The cover charge on silver now just went to 500 an ounce. Have fun, boys. Drops the mic, leaves the stage. That's what we're facing in 3 weeks. And so when that happens, what will us smart sovereign souls be doing? We're going to be the ones outside that kind of club, right? Already holding the real physical bars, ready to throw our own victory party, cheering for our very own sovereign wealth funds. And that's why I really hope all of you're in America at BuddhaLovesGold.com, because once again, you can do an instant match and get up to $10,000 of free silver right now because the price is working to your benefit. You call them at the toll-free number that is on that web page at BuddhaLovesGold.com, right? And once again, I'll just put this up here so you can do the QR code. You can go over to it. You can type it in. It's in the description. It's in the chat. If you're watching this broadcast, you see it all there. If you're listening to this on the podcast in the next 48 hours, you can still do it. I mean, the best is yet to come. Absolutely, Wendy. That's exactly where we are. Just put it into the chat on YouTube. So great to see you there. And once you do that at BuddhaLovesGold.com, you demand your physical silver. That's what they're going to be shipping to you. Or you can say, I want it to go over to this depository in the US. Just please do not get caught with your pants down. And remember, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not an investment broker. I'm not a medical doctor. I've never been one. I'm not interested in ever being one. So this is just me, full on white hat conspiracy theorist Brad, who has had my own banks seized by Royal Bank of Canada, not long after the Freedom Convoy, and refused to wear a mask and refused to get a jab because I knew that the real mask doesn't work. The one they want you to put on drops 30% of your oxygen levels, according to OSHA, in America itself, it alone, right? Put on your N95 and whatnot. And because of that, a Nazi and his wife, another Nazi at Customs and Border Patrol in America, said, no, you cannot come in. No. Like, really? Are you kidding me? And then they said, well, we think you are a bad boy. You can't come into America being like that. So I'm just that kind of guy. Reading exactly what's happening, seeing all of the signs, and it gets down to supply and demand. So February 27, 2026, again, remember that date. This date is critical. This is the COMEX silver saga, which is going to freaking blow up because it's, again, the first notice day for the March 2026 silver futures contracts. That's the official start when holders can formally demand physical delivery of the metal. And so right now, it's February 8th, Super Bowl, Olympics going on. The math everyone's watching is brutal and historic. So March 2026, 3 weeks from now, open interest is around 429 million ounces worth of contracts on COMEX, right? And you can see all this, the papers there. It's all publicly reported. And some reports show it fluctuating between 425 to 528 million ounces, depending on the exact day and the source. But registered, immediately deliverable silver and COMEX vaults right now stands at about 103 million ounces. So it's a fraction, it's a quarter or a fifth of everything that could be demanded on February 27. So some estimates are even ranging, it's 82, 113 million, and it's been dropping fast from heavy withdrawals. Each week you can see COMEX withdrawals of silver, right? Basically, it's like a freaking zombie apocalypse from a bank run standpoint where 429 million hungry mouths show up to dinner, Kitchen's only got 103 million chicken nuggets left. Cook's been serving double portions every night for a year straight. February 27 is when the line officially forms at the door, banging on the door to get their physical precious metals. And if the pantry's already half empty, things get ugly fast. And guess what that also does to price, right? So again, you head over to buddhalovesgold.com. And again, just because you might be in a different country right now, or a nation, there's a difference. Then, I highly encourage you take a few bucks, have some precious metals just in case, right? Because I can't predict exactly what's going to happen if a bond crisis hits. The banks all snap that are holding the paper. They can't get their physical, right? Maybe they happen with that, Chinese Jay Walrui, and they go after the deposit holders in your bank, because when you have money in a bank, it's not your money anymore. In the fine print, it says that you have given it to them. So make no mistake, right? It's all in front of you, everybody. This will be the largest, I predict it's going to be the largest derivative shock since Bear Stearns toppled in 2008. And we saw that massive crisis hit so far. It's the biggest financial crisis of the century so far, 26 years in. Remember the rule of 7 Ps. Badass. And my instructors are combat veterans. They were in Gulf One, and they were also overseas in the Balkans. So they had 2, even they call it peacekeeping tours. Every one of my instructors actually had combat action, as they said. And the rule of 7 Ps is this: proper previous planning prevents a piss poor performance. So again, about staying vigilant and make sure you have everything. And I wouldn't be in fear whatsoever, because great times are going to come as a result of this. And speaking great times, excuse me, I didn't realize I had that on the screen. I'll take that back here. Speaking of great times, you can also see it from the US debt clock. So I mentioned $210 trillion in wealth, right, in America being unleashed. And just think of Alberta, the province of Alberta, which is the size of more than 5 great American states combined. When it is independent, 51st state, it alone has $14 trillion of resource wealth that can be unleashed. When Alberta is independent, 51st state, Albertans pay 0 income tax. It's already part of it. So if you're in Alberta, sign that independence petition, read the fine print, of course, right? And again, from a sovereign standpoint, you can sign it with your sovereign quantum signature, and people who know will know what that's about. So America's hidden wealth is about to be unleashed. And this just came up right before we went live here, everybody, on this beautiful Senate Sunday. Amazing abundance. The world to come. And this is the first time ever US debt clock has included a picture of the world and spoke about abundance. They're often only showing America, the lower 48 states, right, in all of their comms. And now we have it. Amazing abundance and amazing grace. Truly remarkable. That's it for now. 77. Awesome. I love this number. Beautiful. I've been seeing 77 and 107 all day long. So thank you very much for everybody in the chat. See a whole bunch. Goldilocks and Murray from Australia. Here in Rumble, for those who are on YouTube, Murray from Australia and Rumble says, long lines outside Sydney, Australia, bullion dealers last week, every day, all day. Yeah, exactly. Ab McKimmis says, this is my favorite, actually, for factual info. Really appreciate that. Thank you very much. And everybody who's here in the chat and supporting each other. That's what it's all about too in this community. I'll play this for you once again. Just hear it from President Trump. That commercial for our Goldco is a little over a year old. So it says 6,000 5-star reviews then. It's 8,000 5-star reviews now. By the way, remember, if you just want to listen to the podcast, they're typically published a few days later. Try to give them up. Most of them within 24 hours of a live broadcast. So you can just go to Apple, iHeartRadio, for example, find the Sovereign Soul Show. This is the image, and there you go. You can download it Share it with your friends. Be great if you gave us a thumbs up. 5-star review would be awesome, but review it. You do you, being all sovereign. So truly appreciate it. All right, everybody. God bless you. And it's going to be freaking awesome what's going to happen. And the deep stairs are going to feel more pain, which is fantastic because it is mainstream about the suppression of precious metals, the silver shockwave. I believe this is just like pennies on the dollar based on where it's going. And I see it at over $1,100 an ounce by the end of the year. My data supports it, but here it is. We'll see then.
All right, you sovereign souls, now is the time to protect your money with gold and silver if you already have not. And if you are and you have a chance to do so, I highly encourage to do so even more, because gold and silver will launch the golden age, which Commander-in-Chief Trump has continuously referenced.
The dollar is going down, and it's not a pretty picture, and it's not being sustained by proper policy and proper thinking. This was an opportunity, and maybe an opportunity to show people what's happening with the dollar so that we can do something about it.
Get some if you can. BuddhaLovesGold.com will take you to our partner Goldco. They have over 6,000 5-star reviews. This is why now is the time to buy gold and silver, because we have thousands of Americans buying gold today. The rising inflation has reduced our purchasing power. Dysfunctional politics don't work for us. The US dollar has lost over 97% of its value since 1913, while the price of gold has increased over 9,000%. Silver has fared well against the dollar too, with the silver price increasing over 4,500% since 1913. It's about wealth protection. Physical precious metals act as a hedge against dips in volatile markets. Go over to BuddhaLovesGold.com. That's www.BUDDHA, BuddhaLovesGold.com. You will download your free silver and gold guide today, and our great people over there at Goldco will take care of you. That's BuddhaLovesGold.com. You'll see a picture of me right on there, Brad Wozni. And once again, BRICS is the new financial system. Asset-backed precious metals is the way of the future. This is about financial control. Diversifying your assets with gold and silver puts you in control of your wealth at BuddhaLovesGold.com. Thanks for joining us on the program, ladies and gentlemen. Please like, follow, subscribe, share this with 9 friends and family. And of course, if you enjoy our blinged Buddha firing red pills from his 9mm, let us know.